Kary, welcome on to the show here. You're the CEO of Trucker Tools, right?
I am.
So why don't you tell us kind of a little bit about Trucker Tools and what it is that you all do?
And how did Trucker Tools start? Like, what's the origin of that?
I think that's a great question, Rob. So Trucker Tools started back in 2009. We were the OG first app for owner-operators and small fleets. I had a flip phone in 2009. So our founders, Prasad and Murali, visionary and seen, there was a real need to give carriers and small fleets, owner-operators, tools for life out on the road. So started back then, grew a massive carrier following and audience throughout the 2010s, and then we launched into our two products for brokers, visibility and carrier capacity solutions. So on the visibility side, what we do now with brokerages is still have our app for carriers. We have tens of thousands of ELD integrations, direct fleet API integrations. We provide single pane of glass visibility for brokers to understand where their freight is, communicate with carriers, and then pass it on seamlessly to any shipper platform. And on the capacity side, we also are working with those carriers and brokers to really cut through the noise. We have a ton of freight from brokerages to get that in the hands of the right capacity and allow brokers to source and build relationships with carriers.
So is your platform always tied to ELD?
So we do it all. So we do what we call waterfall tracking. So we're always going to try to track via ELD or API first, because we're seeing in the broker space, and
being a broker, I can tell you we love that first.
Yeah, exactly. And that's been a massive push of ours over the last 2 years. So we're adding thousands of ELD integrations a month. So we got a whole team dedicated to it. We've got one-click integrations. We've got over 160 different providers integrated. ELD and API first. If that doesn't work, we're automatically going to send to mobile tracking. We're able to tell if a carrier has our app downloaded. We've got over 350,000 monthly active users. So more than likely, we're on the app, we're on the phone of the carrier or the driver. And then if that doesn't work, we know there are still some drivers out there who prefer, still don't have apps. We have a texting solution, text to track, to really catch those kind of hardest to track carriers in a way that feels good for them.
And whose job would that be to make that connection if the ELD wasn't available? Is it your customer, like the broker, would be making those connections?
With the carriers?
Yes.
So we have an entire ELD team dedicated to setting up and onboarding new carriers. So we actually take that on, working with brokers to understand which of their carriers do they really want us to focus on from an ELD perspective. And then from the mobile app, we have a number of best practices we work with our brokers on and making sure that carriers are aware of our tracking solution. But since we've been around for 14 years and we've got a massive install base and usage base with the carrier community, 99% of these carriers are going to be using us already anyway.
Because on the trucker side, I think sometimes it's hard, and I think you kind of alluded to it a little bit, it's hard to get them to embrace technology a little bit. So how do you find the way to kind of penetrate that and get them to get the app on their phones?
Yeah, so we offer a number of free tools for carriers, and it's, again, really focused on owner ops, way station locators, truck stop locators, truck-specific routing, all for free. So there are a set of value-add tools that these folks know and love and really depend on. So that's one way. We're adding value to them. And then secondly, we also take data privacy and security really importantly, and we know that's really important to carriers. So we've been really upfront with when we are tracking, when we're not tracking, to make it so clear and make these guys feel really safe and secure working with us. I think has been a big unlock.
Very interesting. And I'm curious too, your perspective, because we're the New Warehouse podcast, right? So we're on the shipper side a little bit, but how do you think your tool, the Trucker Tools, kind of like helps improve that kind of shipper-carrier relationship overall? Yeah,
so our objective is for our kind of end customer as a freight broker is to make their experience connecting shipper and carrier as seamless as possible. Right. So we have massive carrier scale, and we've also got scale on the shipper side where we're integrated with a number of shipper platforms to provide visibility. We can provide a single consistent pane of glass for a carrier to connect with brokers and then pass on to shippers, so that it is a really consistent, comfortable, familiar experience, so that shippers are just constantly getting a stream of flow in from where carriers are, as opposed to working through several different systems of the broker, making some phone calls, sending some text, going through email, so on and so forth.
Awesome. And you say a single pane of glass. I know you say that. So you're referring to like a computer screen or a phone?
So really, we work in the TMS mostly with the brokers, because we know brokers often talk about a single pane of glass in their TMS. So we're fully integrated with 35 TMSs. So we just integrate there. But from a single pane of glass to me means that we've got visibility, API, ELD, mobile app, texting, the whole shebang, all seamlessly flowing into one place, consistent carrier experience, however the carrier prefers to share their data, and then passed on to shippers in a very consistent way as well.
Got it. Makes a lot of sense. And I'm curious, you said visibility, and I think, we see at the trade shows, that's kind of like the hot word. Everybody has some kind of visibility. So I mean, you guys are providing that visibility, real-time visibility, as you mentioned. I mean, if people are, looking at solutions and, they see people throwing out the word visibility, I mean, what really should they be qualifying visibility as?
It's all about integration and connectivity in this space. It is so fragmented on, we all represent different parts of the industry here, on the shipper side, on the carrier side, on the broker side, tens of thousands of actors, hundreds of thousands of actors. So visibility means that you have integrations and connectivity and you're top of mind for those players.
At the end of the day for us, you guys have a great product. It still comes down to agreeable adoption, I'll call it, from some of the carriers and especially some of the drivers who especially since you might be working through a dispatcher who then has to work through a driver, and you're not even sure if that dispatcher dispatches just for that driver or carrier, or if he's working for multiple people. So if people adopt it, if the carriers and the drivers adopt this, it's great. If they don't, I would say the ELD is huge, and we're focusing on the ELD as well now. And the best thing you can do is have a steady growth of the carriers that you work with, so that each time you're trying to cover a New Jersey to Atlanta load, you're not trying to catch a new fish every time. You've got a carrier in mind, and they've already got the tools in place.
Very interesting.
So as a broker, you're able to just tap into our network, and we've got, again, the thousands and thousands of ELDs set up. You take advantage of those immediately.
That's beautiful.
Sounds very seamless and very good there. I'm curious, we're here at Manifest, right? So you've been here. I've seen your posts and things all over the place. So tell us a little bit about kind of maybe some of your biggest takeaways. What are some of the things that you're finding or people are really interested in?
No, I'm not. You're famous. So I think Manifest is really interesting in the trade show space because it is, first of all, I think the biggest show I've been to. I think there's 4,500 attendees here, which is bananas.
I think I saw 4,700 maybe almost. Yeah.
Maybe 5,000.
The plan was 45.
Could be.
Yeah.
They went over what they estimated as attendance.
Yeah.
And I think this show also indexes a lot on earlier stage companies that are in the startup, VC era. And what's really exciting about that is seeing how many different individual point solutions are getting worked on, and then how, coming to a show like this, integrations can be built really seamlessly to solve for those end customers. So I think that's what I'm most optimistic about, is if everyone keeps solving really, really difficult problems in really specific spaces, we can then kind of integrate and become a bigger, more powerful platform together.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like here that everybody's very, I think, open to just the communication overall. So it seems like there's a lot of kind of willingness to collaborate, and there's certainly other shows that I've been to where people are a little, closed off. They want to, flip their badge around, hide it, not get bombarded. But it seems here everybody's like very open, right? So, what do you think are some of maybe the top like insights or trends that we're going to see this year coming out of the show?
Yeah, I think Rob actually hit on it. I'm speaking to the freight brokerage audience
definitely.
right now. Carrier reuse and understanding exactly who your carriers are has never been more important. So figuring out what sort of data you can access, whether it's through an ELD, through data products, through relationship-based tools to understand who exactly is hauling this freight and how do I drive up a very specific KPI, which is the percentage of loads you're doing with consistent carriers. So anything that can be done in service of that, I think we'll have a great year.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really great to learn about Trucker Tools and get some of your insights here as well. And we do have a comment. Somebody said, let's talk about those rates. I'm not sure what they're alluding to.
Those what?
Those rates, they said. I don't know.
Oh, the rates suck right now. I'm assuming they're talking about the freight market. But
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Seeing some early glimmers of
They were
optimism.
talking about the price of Trucker Tools. I wasn't sure there.
I'm not sure.
Send me a note if you want to
talk.
If you want to talk pricing, I'm happy to chat.
Yeah, talk to Kary. Yeah, because they did do the little emoji like covering their eye like that. They're hiding a little bit. I don't know, but so yeah, I mean, it's very interesting to learn about Trucker Tools here, and thank you so much for coming by and giving us some insights on everything. And we definitely hope that you have a great rest of Manifest here on the last day. If people are interested in learning more about Trucker Tools, what's the best way to do that?
LinkedIn, find me, Kary Jablonski. Find me on Twitter. It's also my Twitter handle.
I saw you on there too. Yeah.
Or just shoot me a note, kjablonski@truckertools.com.
All right. So, Kary, thank you so much for coming by and stopping by the New Warehouse booth here. And we're going to send you off with some socks.
Wow.
To go with those awesome sneakers you
Thank
got
you
on.
so much. Yeah, the BWS will pop out just above the high
Yeah,
tops.
love it.
There you
Awesome.
go.
Thank you both so much for having me on.
All right, great
really,
to talk
really
to you.
appreciate it.
All right, thank
see
you
you
very
guys.
much.